First, always great to talk to you. And it's funny because we were just speaking just a moment ago, and you were saying it's always a pleasure speaking with me. I always like to start my interviews because for folks who don't know this, I do several interviews on one day. If there's ever somebody who I want to talk to first to start the thing off right, it's you. Because you have
Really?
such, no, seriously, because first, I love talking to you. I love what you're doing, but I love the fact that you have such a positive vibe. I mean, the world is going to crap, but it's like you, pinball. Like I can name a couple of people that'd be like, "Oh, don't worry, we'll get through it. It's all right. It's all right." Where do you get that from?
You know what? It is a challenge. I think it's challenging times, but I've tried to practice mindfulness and being in the moment, as much as possible because that's really the only thing I have control over in my life. And I'm a control freak, so it's like it's an ongoing uh process of trying to be in the moment and enjoy the moment as it is. But I find I'm much happier here.
Definitely. And the other thing I'd ask, how many guitars do you have behind you? Because I don't think I've ever seen like
Really?
we've done interviews, but I've never seen the collection.
Okay, yeah, I think there's around 22. I think
Wow.
22 was the last time I counted. But yeah, but there's no redundancy in this collection. They're all very different in tone and character. So yeah, there's a guitar for every genre. That's what I like to say.
I love that. I learned that from Gordon Lightfoot because when I was at his home, the amount of guitars that he had, I thought to myself, man, if I could sneak one out, he'd never notice. But then again, you notice when your children are missing, you know?
It's very true. It's very, very true. They are like children. Yeah.
Well, when you have all these guitars, you've got so much around there. Do you think you're going to have room for another Juno Award? Because congratulations on the nomination.
Thank you. There's always room for more Junos, of course. But yeah, thank you. I'm very honored by this nomination.
How many nominations is it for you now?
It's my third
Third.
for my own personal work, not like projects I've produced, but yeah,
And how many have you won?
one.
One. Okay,
Yes.
so there is still room for another.
There's room
How
for
did
another.
so let's go right into it for folks who don't know. What are you nominated for?
Recording engineer of the year.
Does that like really help solidify your career when you get a nomination like this? And when I say solidify, I mean you do amazing work, but it's always nice when we as the industry say you're doing such great work. Let's nominate you.
I mean, it's beautiful because you're nominated by your peers, and that to me is one of the greatest honors. And yeah, I think I've said this a couple of times, I think to you, but I spend a lot of time in a basement, sometimes in the dark, and it's always a very shocking and validating experience to be acknowledged for your work, just to know that people are listening, and that they're enjoying it. So yeah, I think it means a lot.
So what were you doing in 2024 to help solidify this nomination?
I mean, I had the
Oh, wait,
honor
wait,
of
wait. I
working
got,
in,
I got, I got to stop you right there. When
yeah.
I asked you that question, you had this like exhausted look come across your face, like,
I
oh
was like,
yeah,
what was I doing? There was so much. Um, no, I mean, I had like the pleasure of working with such amazing artists, and this category is interesting because you're choosing two out of the many projects that you've worked on throughout the year. But yeah, I mean, I think I just got really lucky to work with amazing artists and we shared the same vision. And I think when you have that sort of synchronicity and creativity and the flow of that creativity, you can create some really amazing stuff. So I had a year of that. I've gotten to the point where I just choose to work with artists I love. And I only work on projects that I really want to work on. And that definitely helps, I think, with the passion and keeping that passion for music alive.
can you give us one of them? Doesn't have to
One
be
of
the
the
best
artists I
one.
work with.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I can give you the two I received the nom for. Sebastian Gaskin. I worked with him on a song called Ghost, and he's incredible. He's one of the
Yeah.
most prolific up and coming artists right now that I've seen. And I've known Sebastian for years. Like I've seen him, coming up, and it's just really beautiful to see him getting this acknowledgement too, because he's been nominated this year. And the other artist was Emmy Jean for a song called Should We, which is like Yeah, she's amazing too. I mean, I'm actually working with her on her upcoming project right now too, so I'm very excited about that.
You know, we see the glamorous side. We see you. I love the hats, first off. Love the outfits.
Thank you.
We see you on the red carpets. We've seen you at parties. In fact, that was the last time I saw you was at the Juno nomination party that they had the day of the new Junos were announced. And I'll probably be seeing you in Vancouver also. People don't really know the, if I could say a quote unquote dark side to the engineering life. They don't know about, like you said, in the room, sometimes in the dark, 2, 3 in the morning, sometimes going 30 hours straight. Like, talk about those, if you want to call it horror stories, even though the beauty comes out of the work that you do.
I mean, I will be honest, I kind of stopped doing those insane hours unless I absolutely have to now because I don't think it's sustainable. I think that there is this idea that, in this whole hustle culture of being in the entertainment industry, like that's what it has to be. And I honestly think I work better and more productively and more creatively when I do have a life in between. So I try to make an effort for that unless it's an absolute emergency. But yeah, I mean, I think hard work, consistent work is part of it. And yeah, I mean, it is one of those things where we just try to do our best and you just have to keep doing it, and sometimes it is all hours, absolutely, but I don't look at it as a dark side. I mean, when you enjoy what you're doing, some mornings are hard when you wake up and you're like, how am I going to think about another idea today? I have that every time I start a writing session. I'll think that I'll never be able to write a song again, and I have this deep panic at the beginning of the day, and then by the end of it you just have this beautiful moment of relief because you're like, wow, I did it again. you know
No, I hear you. The reason why I say that though, the dark side, decades ago, I was an assistant engineer, and I can remember very few hours sleep. Chips was my main meal, and this was when we had reels, and having to the reel machine, you would have to tweak it. You'd have to use the screwdriver and use the tone reel to set it and things like that. Things have definitely changed over the years. Thank God for digital. But do you consider this your whole life? And when I ask that, what other things do you also do besides this?
Um, I mean, it is my life because I love doing it and I spend a lot of time doing it. But yeah, I mean, I have many interests. I'm curious about the world. I love learning new things. I love writing. I have a typewriter. I love writing on my typewriter. I haven't been able to do it in the past year, but I'm usually an avid gardener. I love growing vegetables and herbs and plants. I have plants all over my house. I love plants. Yeah, I love reading. I love going out to museums. I love science. I love astronomy. Like I love all these things, and I think that all of these things kind of feed into our human experience, with which then I take and put into my other entire life, which is music. So yeah.
And speaking of music too, when are you going to do some for yourself and release music for yourself?
It's interesting you said that because I looked at the calendar the other day and I realized it has been 10 years since I released an album of my own. And I've been writing songs lately. So I don't know, maybe soon, maybe in the near or not so distant future. I can only work on my own music when I feel like I have something to say. And I feel like there's enough happening in the world right now where I have something to say.
Any chance you're ever going to be working on a movie soundtrack or even television?
I'd love to. I do some writing for television right now, but yeah, I'd love to be part of a larger project like that. And the television series is always interesting to me because I really love the longer format and the story development that occurs through that format. But yeah, I have a film degree, so that's definitely my other passion, and I'd love to find a way to marry those two things more often.
In the meantime, as we prepare to head to Vancouver, what are your plans so far?
In Vancouver or from now till then?
Now till then, and getting to Vancouver.
Well, now till then, I'm working on a bunch of projects. I'm actually working on a bunch of projects like literally until the day I land in Vancouver. I have a really exciting project coming out on March 8th which I'm the remixer for Toronto's Sonic ID for FIFA World Cup 26, which is
Oh
really
yeah,
exciting.
thank you for reminding me of that. I got the email on that. Congratulations on that. Can you talk more about that, please? Thank you for reminding me
Yeah,
about that.
I mean, I got a really mysterious private message on Instagram from a FIFA account, and at first I thought it was a like a hoax, and then I looked and saw it was the official FIFA account. But they said they had an exciting opportunity to run by me, and they sent me the info. And yeah, it's a really amazing project. What they're doing this year is there's 16 host cities for the World Cup for FIFA World Cup 26, and they've chosen a producer from each city to do a remix of the official theme song for FIFA World Cup 26. So I got to rep our city of Toronto. I'm really excited and honored by that.
I love that, and then you heard about Wanda. He's doing some stuff
Yeah,
for
for Soccer
soccer.
Canada.
Yeah. I love the fact that they are looking at Canadian engineers, Canadian producers, just Canada in general in the industry to help represent music for the rest of the world.
It is really amazing, and it makes sense. I mean, when you think about some of the artists and the styles and aesthetics that have emerged in music, over the last 10, 15 years, it's been from Canada. A lot of our artists have shaped pop music globally, so it makes sense to me. It's nice to see it.
Do you think one of the reasons why is because we are truly, of any country in the world, and I include the US on this, multicultural, because we have so many people from around the world and we so represent each of their music genres?
I think that is a big part of it because especially, growing up in a city like Toronto, I was exposed to so much culture growing up, right? And that has informed even as a young musician playing in bars starting at 13, and I remember the bills I was on. It was like me doing my weird pop rock music, and then there would be R&B artists and world music artists, and it was just a really inspiring scene. It wasn't really cliquey in the sense that it's like, okay, you're only hanging out with people playing this type of music. So that definitely inspired me personally, and I'd imagine that's the experience of a lot of the artists coming from this city. And you can't help but be inspired by that, and that definitely informs how you view the world, I think, and how that translates into music.
Okay, I can't let this pass by. Did you say you were working in bars at 13?
I was, yeah. With a chaperone. I wasn't alone in
Oh,
there.
yeah. Because I was going to say, how did
my,
you
my
pull this
parents came
off?
to every show. Yeah, no, this was back in the day where, as long as I went in and played my set and got out of there, I was allowed to start playing clubs at that age. So, yeah.
Oh, how times have changed. Okay, so now you get to Vancouver. Any plans other than, of course, red carpets and crossing fingers, walking out with another Juno?
I mean, even if I don't get one, that's fine, totally fine. I love going to the Junos. I love
Yeah.
seeing my friends and my colleagues, and it's just such a great time to catch up and celebrate each other. And yeah, I'm excited to just celebrate with everybody. That's the joy of going there.
Well, congratulations. I love getting a chance to talk to you about anything when it comes to music, but I especially love the fact when I get to talk to you about Juno nominations and when you're on that list. So much deserved. Congratulations. I will see you in Vancouver. I'll see you on the red carpet, and my fingers are crossed for you. Congrats.
Thanks, Rudy.